Yeah. When you were talking about going to the doctor when you were a child, and that this is a very disturbing story, but I want you to try to explain it to people, how people were dying in these hospitals and rats would eat the eyeballs of the people who were dying, and children who were starving would eat the rats. And then the children would die and the rats would eat the children.
Yeah. So in train stations, that's when people die mostly. And in North Korea, the hardest thing as a child for me is that when my mom goes away to find food, like we don't have we don't have phones, we don't have letters. If I say goodbye to her, I don't know when I'm gonna see her again or if I'm ever gonna see her again, because she could have killed and like raped and starved. You just never know how to find people. So in the morning when you go like walk in the train station, they just put the piles of the dead bodies, and they're all like become rigid, right? They're almost like wood, piled them on and taking away. And but the thing is, for me, I didn't even know the word compassion. Like nobody told me you have to feel bad for it, because for me it's like fish in the water don't notice the water, right? Like that. It was like something every day I saw as a child.
So you never went days where you didn't see. This is a normal thing to see dead bodies.
It was every day as like normal as like breathing the air right now. And one thing that I still remember is my sister and I was walking by the well. Like in North Korea, we don't have a switch. We don't have running water, obviously. We have to go to well or river to bring the drinking water. And there's a young teenage boy, I think, lying down, and his intestines coming out of his back. When you're really malnourished, that thing all opens up. You got zero fats. Every hole all opens. And you see dogs looking at his organs coming out. And he was still somehow conscious, begging for food at the time.
He was begging for food while his organs were hanging out of his body.
Yeah. And I don't know why he was like pants were off. And I felt nothing. That still haunts me till this day. Like, I don't know how I felt nothing at that point. And that just looked horrible. And because it's just the fact that he's alive and so much flies flying by on his organs, and how he's somehow consciously begging for food. And I didn't feel anything.
You felt no compassion?
No. Nothing.
It was just normal.
Yeah. So that was like daily life thing. And then in the hospital when I was 13 years old, my parents took me to hospital because I was a bad stomachache. And then we don't have like X-ray machines. We don't have MRI, none of that. Just doctor rubs your belly, and then he says, "Oh, we need to operate on her." I think her like appendix were bursting or something. So that afternoon they cut me open without any anesthesia. But it's normal thing. People in North Korea operation without anesthesia. But the chances of you going to surgery is a lot higher for you getting infected, because we don't have penicillin. The nurse is using a 1 needle to inject every single patient. So who do you know what the other person has? You get from actually more sick by being in the hospital.
Right.
And this is where we don't, of course, have an indoor bathroom for the patient. We have to go outside. And in between there's a piles of dead human bodies. And that's when I was seeing this somehow rats eating human eyes first for some reason.
Because they're probably soft and easy to eat.
And these women, I don't know, in my age probably, short hair, wearing these flower pants, and when they're dead, all like their mouth is somehow open, and their all eyes are hollow, and you see children like looking at the rats and laughing and chasing them, and adults telling them like, don't eat those, you're gonna get sick from it. But of course kids don't care. Like even finding a rat is delicacy, because even finding a snake is a big prize. You don't find those like often.
So they were finding the rats and then just trying to eat them?
Yeah.
Were they eating them raw?
Sometimes if you find the skin, you do, but they do find some like fire and roast them.
So they were excited to find a rat to eat.
Yeah,
so they were catching them with their hands.
Yeah, oh yeah, of course they do catch them around with their hands. And these piles of human bodies, like she was on top. That's why I was able to see her wearing this flower and pants till this, and then like her eyes are so hollow. It's like when you look at the human body, like nothing is left. I think that's what. It's not like just death is sad. It's just like how it becomes nothing, so
Right.
empty inside. She does not know the shame or pain. Just she was lying there like that, and you see children just chasing them and laughing and try to catch the rats.
And the children didn't feel anything being around the dead bodies. Just it was
No,
normal.
It's our daily normal thing. Seeing a death is like our daily life.
And they would eat the rats, and then they would get sick, and
Yeah.
some of them would die,
Yeah, a
And
lot
then-
of them die.
and then the rats would eat them.
Yeah, it's like the cycle we talk about. It's like that's a spring is for North Korea, a season of death.
And so the diseases that they would get from the rats, they were willing to risk those diseases just because of hunger.
Because when you're there's a North Korean proverb. There is no wish for the person who died after their stomach is full. So even in middle of the earthquake, the North Koreans not try to run. So my mom was talking about the day when she was in the university. There's earthquake happening. And do you know what these students doing is not running out of the building and try to survive. They go to kitchen. So before they die, they eat at least. So they can die. So if you have that promise of eating a one meal, they're gonna risk everything for that.
So it's just an entire country in a perpetual state of starvation.
Yeah, it's. I remember playing with this game with my sister as a young girl. I never ate till I felt full. So I would compare myself. Like I tell her, like I can eat 100 bread, and she's like, I can eat the mountains of bread. I can eat like 10,000 more than what you just said, because I don't know the limits of my stomach. 'Cause I never tested it.
So you always were hungry.
Always hungry, never felt full.